So this is part 2 of my weekend video of November the 25th. So in the first video I looked at my 4-week cycle and the 10-week oscillation, and I would switch over to my VIX projection. My VIX 10 weeks oscillation is now giving me this projection here, and also I have my 4-week cycle here in orange. So the projection is suggesting a high somewhere early December and a low somewhere late December or maybe into January. We should expect some kind of a ABC reaction here, but it could also be a longer ABC into January sometime. This is this projection is given by the most common outcomes. There are sometimes, analogs that could break down earlier and some that top out later. But this is the most normal outcome from this 10-week oscillation, and I could switch to my wavelet S&P daily data. This is how it looks right now, and I see no reason to start selling here. And this long correction, you could say it failed. We couldn't produce a new bear market, and we got very oversold, and it's to be expected that we should rally up to test the previous high. No reason to sell before we get to this previous high. Actually, we are rather close, so maybe we are close enough, but I would not like to start selling here before we see some stagnation here. So we would need a week or two, I would think, before we have a good selling setup. Then I took the scenario from my VIX oscillation, and I inserted it here, and I made a simulation. How will it look? So we are at this point, and the projection is suggesting maybe a little bit more upside, but we should mostly go sideways here. Also, the past week I showed how to look for lows using this wavelet, so I would normally look for a low around this point, and that's exactly where the projection says it's time to move to the upside. With this momentum, expect a higher low, possible A, B, C, and then around the all-time highs, then we could have a bearish setup for a larger correction. Breaking this trend line here would set up for something more to the downside. Let me see, what's my next point? Yeah, here's the same chart here with the dates down here. So we are at this point. I could see us overshoot a little bit the previous top, and regarding the downside, it's very possible that we could go down towards 4,450 somewhere. So very possible we go lower than this projection, and just looking at some Fibonacci's, just below 4,500 is to be expected, and a low around New Year, and then we should have a rally in January. I would like to switch to the hourly data for Dow Jones Industrial. So this first scenario here, it did play out well, but the current 2-week oscillation here, it turned out much more bullish than my scenario here. we did get this push. You see, market does not want to go below this trend line, but we are starting to break below it. We are clinging on to it. So there's a problem here. We have lost 1.5 trading day in this past week because of Thanksgiving, and from my experience that can mess up my wavelets. So I would not trust my wavelets for the next week or 2 weeks, and we need some time to get in sync with the market, and then we can get distorted wavelets at this point. So, but I can't see a 2-week oscillation low here, unless actually this is a low and we shoot to the upside. But at this point, looking at my wavelet, looking at this trend line, it certainly looks like market should have a reaction to the downside here. But we now also know that my 4-week cycle is very bullish in the coming week. It's where we usually get the pop. But it would be hard to get a pop to the upside being so overbought. I would like to see more like a bull flag here. So it's difficult. So I have to wait and see. I don't just trust anything in this chart currently. I would like to see us topping out in the coming 1 or 2 weeks here, and then we could get a reaction to the downside. And I should bring in these general scenarios. I said after a correction has finished, expect nothing bearish in the first 3 2-week oscillations. 1, 2, 3. And I keep these general scenarios what to look for in this rally phase, and you know, it's just more upside. I have this other one very similar. You know, yeah, I would like to see a little reaction to the downside early this coming week, and then we should have the pop. But because we are so overbought, I don't think we will get a strong pop-up. So yeah, I'm not. Well, I could draw a scenario here. You know, yeah, I would like to see some reaction to the downside, breaking this trend line, but then we pop up again, stagnating, making a flat top, and then we could react down. So that's my general scenario. And as I showed, 4-week cycle is now in this coming week very bullish. That's where we usually get the pop. So maybe a small reaction to the downside, then a pop, but no real momentum, stagnating at this previous summer highs, going sideways, making a topping formation, and then we finally get a reaction to the downside, making a higher low, maybe at this point, maybe some kind of a double low, early January, and then we have a 10-week oscillation higher low, and we're ready for a B, C. So, see ya!